Welcome back to the Farm to Film podcast. It's me, Derek, your host, and we are going behind the scenes of Snatched. And today I have a guest that I'm very excited to introduce you all to. This is the one and only Kyle Krueger, who did all of our special effects makeup, helped design our wig for Snatched, which, look at this, I still have it right here.
There she is.
Our wig. Kyle, hi, how are you?
I'm so good. How are you?
It's life is a whirlwind.
It sure
It's
is.
summer. It's hot. It's a roller coaster up and down, but overall good. I could complain. I just tried not to.
There you go. That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, yeah. So, Kyle, for anyone who doesn't know you, who is just meeting you for the first time, what is something that you want people to know about Kyle?
Oh, geez, that's a tough question.
Should we come back to
Um,
it? Should we start with an
yeah, you're
easier?
starting.
Kyle,
You're starting right out the gate with just the deep ones.
I wasn't that deep. You could literally be like, I love to read Shakespeare. I don't know.
It's like the love on the spectrum intros, right? Like three things that I like and three things that I don't like.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have sent you all the questions ahead of time so you could have prepared. But
Next time.
I think that says a lot about you though, because somebody could just say like, "Oh, I love pizza," right? But like
Right.
you took that question, which could be interpreted any way, and you said, "Oh, that's a very deep question," because you think very deeply.
Exactly. See, that's what we're gonna go
All right, Kyle is a
with.
deep person. You think deeply. Kyle, can we go back to the beginning a little bit? I want to cover just a little bit of like where you came from in this
Sure.
world and how you got into doing special effects makeup in movies.
Yeah, yeah. So it's an age at the timeless story,
Yes.
young boy from the Midwest grows up, gets really into horror. No, but yeah, I always grew up being like loving horror. My mom was really big into horror movies and stuff like that, and I loved once DVDs came out, watching like the behind the scenes and how things were made and stuff. And that was always kind of like in my peripheral. And when I got to school, high school, college, and stuff, I was actually pursuing performance and music. And during that time, I kind of made a switch to fine arts, like fine visual arts. And simultaneously, I started getting involved in like haunted attractions, so like
Mm.
haunted houses and stuff, where I would be a scare actor. I would interact with people and waiting in line and annoy them and be that person. But I
Fun.
would come in early and do makeup on everybody else
Yes.
in the haunt and then on myself and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is like pretty fun and like. I get to like be in the world of horror and gore and stuff, but I still get to like be a part of storytelling. It was a fun time.
Hmm.
And I had actually dropped out of school twice.
Out of
And
high school or college?
college.
College. Okay.
And when the second time I had kind of dropped out, I was actually dating a drag performer, and their career was kind of taking off at the time, and so I got really involved in nightlife. So I started to body paint and like costume go-go boys and dancers and stuff like that. And
Just all self-learned, or is this stuff you picked up in college
Yeah,
before you
like all
dropped
kinds of
out?
self-taught. I mean, in the fine arts world, I studied like sculpture and like painting and drawing, and I focused a lot in the world of like the human body and stuff like that. So a lot of like figure sculpting and figure drawing and things like that, and all color theory and everything comes with that. But a majority of my skill set for makeup and costuming and wigs and stuff is all self-taught. And just like being a sponge and like being around people. I mean, the the way I learned wigs or started to learn wigs, which I'm not a wig maker. I don't say that I'm a wig artist. I dabble for sure,
Hmm.
but
You dabble well, though.
thank you, I appreciate
Yeah.
it. But I learned it from being in drag rooms, right? And like
Hmm.
with my ex and other friends and stuff, just like hanging out and watching, the girls get ready and put together their costumes and everything. Like I just absorbed everything. And then one thing led to another. I started to dabble and yeah. And towards the end of my time in Wisconsin, I was working a lot I lived in Milwaukee and I was working a lot in Chicago, and I was going to move there, but the company I was working with at the time had a hiring freeze. So my manager was like, well, not looking to New York. Maybe you do good out there. And I was like, nah, there's no way. It's too big. I'm not going to be able to make it out there, kind of a thing. And so I came out here and I tried it. And I immediately started to get some gigs just by knowing some friends in the city, and started working for Alcone Company, a professional makeup company. And one thing led to another. I just started to get, a little gig here, a little gig there, and started working towards getting into the hair and makeup union and everything. And so, yeah, everything just kind of fell into place, and just, saying yes to as many things as I could. And, I feel like sometimes it's a little geeky, but like I put my own money back into the things that I liked doing, which was like making scary monsters and dressing people up for shows. And I got a couple of gigs costuming for some college shows, and yeah, and then somehow here we are today.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, I have a couple questions based on some things you said. So,
Yeah,
so you said you grew up watching horror movies with your mom, which is cool because a lot of
yeah,
parents would be like, "Don't watch scary movies."
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
like how young were you? And at the time, were you scared of horror movies, or was it always like intriguing to you?
So I mean, I don't think my mom stopped watching horror movies, so I'm pretty sure like in the crib, my brother and I both were like growing up with just horror movies around us and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And my mom was really big into Halloween as well, and
Mm.
so are we. So, and my grandma, I think I get a lot of my artistic stuff from. She made all of our costumes for Halloween, like scarecrows and clowns and vampires, and like got really into it. One year I was a giant like cell phone. It was amazing.
That's cool.
And so there was just like a lot of enthusiasm around like Halloween and horror and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean, as a baby, we were watching it. And yeah, we were never really scared of the horror movies. I mean, nothing was really censored. Um, but yeah, I just thought I don't know what drew me to it as a kid, but I just thought it was really cool. And I think early on I did see like a behind the scenes movie or a clip or something. I think it might have been a Disney film or something where they were like making the person up. And I really became obsessed with like masks and like
Hmm.
monster masks and like putting masks on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't think we were ever really scared of it. My brother used to like pull jokes on me a lot as a kid. We'd watch Goosebumps and stuff, and then he would hide like my mom collected like porcelain Victorian dolls, and he'd like hide them in my bedroom or something like that to like creep me out that they were alive and stuff. So we had that kind of like scare going
Uh-huh.
on, but like movies themselves, we weren't really creeped out by.
I remember the first scary movie that scared me. Like
Ooh,
I left the room because I didn't want to finish watching the movie.
what one?
The Craft.
Uh, that's actually a terrifying movie.
There's a
If
lot
you
of
really think
very
about it.
visually scary things, especially for a kid, right? And I
Yeah,
didn't I didn't watch a lot of horror. Like it wasn't something that was like it was something I sort of
yeah.
discovered because I remember leaving the room and feeling so weak that I couldn't finish watching a scary movie. I was like, it's not even real, you know? And so I remember being like, I am going to conquer this fear. I'm not going to let the movie win. And then I was just like, I'm just going to watch a bunch of horror movies to like get
Oh,
over,
it's so smart. Yeah.
yeah, that like
Exposure
fear.
therapy.
Yeah.
That's
But
really
I also
neat.
remember trying to watch it and then my mom coming in like turning it off and being like, you can't watch that. That's too scary. That's not good for
She
kids.
she probably saved you at that time.
I
It
think so too.
was
I was probably too young.
terrifying.
Hmm.
Terrifying. The Craft is also creepy though too because a lot of it's grounded in like semi-reality, right? Like they're witches controlling their reality around them, and like
Right.
the things that happened could have been things that happened. Like your entire house being covered in bugs and trying to swarm you, that's not necessarily fantasy. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's
that's
probably not
really
going to suddenly happen tomorrow, but like
yeah, it could
over time that
happen.
could happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's
the
some,
needles in the back and like the
oh yeah, the
scars. I
doctor
hated
scene.
that
See,
part.
and I was fascinated with that as a kid. Like
Sure.
mine was always like, how did they do that? I need to know how they
Mm,
do that. And that was before the internet and stuff, before you could just like go
Google
and
it.
like look it up and see how it was, right? So
Yeah.
like in your head, you're like trying to figure out how they made it happen.
Yeah, there wasn't like a YouTube tutorial.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Like
I
now
know
you
a
can
lot
just
of
go on YouTube and learn anything, how to do, you can self-teach yourself almost anything.
exactly. Well, see, and now I know a lot of my friends who have kids and stuff, they show their kids the behind the scenes of horror movies sometimes before they see the movie so that they
Mm,
like desensitize them so they'd be like, oh, see, this is just an actor in a mask and they're just playing a
yeah.
role and stuff like that. So it's cool that there's access for that stuff now, but
Yeah.
sorry you didn't have that back then for the craft to let you know that they weren't really
Yeah.
witches.
It's okay. I got over it. My nephew who's 6, almost 7, is like loves creepy crawly spiders and scary things. He loves being like jump
Yeah.
scared.
Yeah.
Like even since he was like a tiny little toddler, like you'd scare him and he'd get scared, but then he'd like want you to do it again.
That's
Um,
amazing.
and so we started introducing him to some horror. Eight-Legged Freaks was a good starting point for him because
Ooh,
it's,
that's a good one.
very campy. It's very,
Yeah.
giant spiders. He loved it. And then recently we watched Tremors, the 1, 2, and 3, and he loved
Oh,
that.
Tremors are so good.
Yeah, the monster movies are a good starting point, but yeah,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
we're
yeah.
we're starting to dabble. Um, oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to ask you was about your like haunted
Oh,
experience,
yeah.
haunted, like working in haunted houses and mazes and scaring people, because that's something that a lot of people can relate to. I think most people
Oh,
listening to this have
totally.
probably been to a haunted house or two in their
Oh,
life.
yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything that like would might surprise people about like what that's like working in that space?
I mean, it kind of depends on it's a huge industry
Hmm.
for a 1 month. People think like 1 month of the year. It is a
Right.
huge, huge, huge industry. And especially if you're doing haunted houses at like theme parks or any kind of like year-round attractions, zoos and stuff like that, that like put on some sort of fright night at the end of the year, like they're constantly working towards it. Like Halloween season stops, and by December, January, people are already planning their haunt for the next season, right? And it trickles down from that, right? So you have like home haunters who make haunts in their backyard and in their garages, and then you
Hmm.
have volunteer, semi-professional, and you have professional, right? And there's conventions that happen every year, generally like around like March, January to March, where vendors from all over the place who make animatronics, masks, makeup products, like buzzers and lights and anything like props, like anything you can think of that you would need to build a haunt. Those vendors all come together and they sell their products and they like trend on like what's trendy that next year. It's like crazy. It's a real industry. And when I worked in that industry, pretty soon afterwards, I started to work for this little like social media conglomerate thing called. At first, it was inside the haunt industry. Then we changed to Haunt Collective. That was me and my friend Dan and Liz, and we would go to all these conventions, and we would be hired to cover the convention. So we would go and interview the attendees and the guests. We would go and interview the vendors, and we would host their costume contests or their the best one was a Halloween expo where Spirit Halloween goes to like buy their costumes for their vendors and stuff. And it was so corporate. It was just so corporate that we got brought in because they had like a little section that was really like haunted attraction focused. But
Hmm.
they had their announcer drop out for their like little fashion show for their costumes. There was like, like a really cheap cape and like a screen printed like S for like Superman, for like a kiddo coming out, and all the way to like some pretty cool stuff. But they dropped out, so Liz and I, they asked us if we wanted to do it or whatever, so we did, and then we just kept coming up with puns with every costume that came up, and then it became a tradition of us like, emceeing their events and stuff, and so we turned this completely like crazy corporate world on their head because they're like, what are these freaks doing here? Like making puns and jokes and like they just love Halloween like more than these suits do. So it's crazy because you have like those home haunters who they make it's their entire life. Their haunted Halloween
Hmm.
is their entire life. They pour
Yep.
all their life savings in it just to scare people, right? And that's the love of the scare. And then you have like corporations like Spirit Halloween, right, that are looking to sell to everybody who loves Halloween and stuff, who
All
go
year
to these
round.
things,
Yeah.
right, year round, right? So it's a wild industry, like wild industry. And I was in it for probably like 12 years. Pretty active. And but I gotta tell you, there's nothing like the thrill of you don't always get paid, but if you get paid to scare people, it
Yeah.
is so fun. It is so fun. And like, I mean, they would have classes and seminars at these places of like the psychology of scaring. And like at your haunted house, you want to get them in a position where they're kind of crouched. So have a lower ceiling where they have to crouch, because when you're in a crouched position, you're more vulnerable to being scared. You're more susceptible to being scared,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
And like, everybody thinks that being in the middle of the group is the safest, but we know that as haunters, so we're going to scare the middle of the group. So you can't like hide from us and stuff. It's really cool. It's like a
Yeah.
whole thing. So
Yeah. That's definitely has been like one of my like uh gripes, I guess. Like every haunted house I've ever gone to is just like there's, especially in LA, like there's so many people, it's so busy, so they're just like shuffling people through. You're almost just like in a
yeah,
conga line the whole time. And so
yeah,
it's like you look ahead and it's like, oh, that person just got scared there. Like there's still a party that's like that tension, that adrenaline, that
yeah. Oh
like
yeah,
waiting for that scare to happen, it's coming, so it's like not as scary because I just saw it, or like they going to scare the person ahead of me or me or the person behind me.
exactly.
So like
Yeah,
I feel like I've never really done a good haunted house where like I don't know what's coming. All my experiences have been like, oh, I see it coming up.
right.
um
Totally.
so I'm sure that's something that is you got like in that they're always like trying to figure out like, okay, how do we, without
Oh,
like
a thousand
sending
percent.
everyone through in a group of one or two, and then you're waiting for 4 hours to get into a haunted
Oh
house.
yeah. I was really lucky. I worked for the haunted house that I started working for was for a college that I was attending. And the technical theater director is the one who built the haunted house, right? And it was volunteer. And the first haunted house, they built an elevator, right? So as a guest, you would get into this elevator and lights would go up and down, like and it would shake, and there'd be this whole big message. And it felt like you were going down in an elevator, but you were just being slowly moved to the left
Mm.
so that you can go to the hallway that's immediately directly behind the wall in the room that you were just at. But like
Yeah.
people were like, they were like, how did we get back on the first level to come out? I don't remember going up any stairs. Like it was like, it's just funny because that's my favorite thing. I think that's like the theater of it all, of film and movies and TV and stuff like that too, is like the, okay, it sounds manipulative, but like tricking people, right? Like,
Yeah.
and the theatrics and the camp of like, you know, what did I just witness? Is that real? Could that happen? How did they do that? Sort of a thing. Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
That was my favorite thing about it. But yeah, it was really fun to like trick people because they're so used to going to haunts where it's like, just kind of like cookie cutter and where it
Yeah.
is. And so I
Hmm.
I was lucky. I worked for some unique things and stuff. And yeah.
Very cool. All right. So, getting into like professional, the
Yeah.
business of in movies, do you have a moment that you sort of look back and go like, oh, like that really like set me on the path that I am now, or like any like really like memorable jobs, things you're really proud of, anything like, oh, I don't. So you take a brag about yourself a little bit.
um, See, everyone always asks that, like whenever I'm on set and stuff, like talent and stuff, especially, are like, oh, so like what got you to makeup, and like what's your favorite thing? Like what's the one thing and it's so hard to pick like your favorite
Yeah.
thing because I think it's one of the reasons I love this industry because it's always different. Every single situation is different. You're always with different talent. Like
Hmm.
you're always coming up with different solutions for problems and stuff. But yeah, there's a couple. I mean, I'm very fortunate. I get to do the VMAs every year. A couple years ago, I usually just go as a makeup artist, but a couple years ago, I went as a co-key artist.
Mm.
So I ran a very large team to put beards on like 80 to 100 Eminem lookalikes. And like having to coordinate that, and we had like barbers and makeup artists and effect artists like applying these beards and custom shaving them and stuff like that. And like so like getting to like be in that world and then seeing that on TV like nationwide with all these people tuning in and stuff, it's like be like, oh, I had a hand in that, right? Is
Yeah.
is crazy. I do The View a lot. A lot of
Okay.
times when they do Halloween, I come in and do the looks. And
Hmm.
uh, I I had just been on a podcast a little bit before this during the pandemic, and somebody asked me like, "Are there any celebrities that you would love to like work with or whatever?" And one of them I said Aubrey Plaza, right? Because I just think that she's hilarious and an amazing person, right? I'm like,
Hmm.
I would just love to work with her and be in a room with her and just collaborate on something with her. And like, that's never going to happen. And not even like a year and a half later, I'm on The View helping with the kids' costumes looks. And I get a text message from one of the lead makeup uh, folks, and they're like, "Hey, our guest really wants to have fangs. She was coming as a witch, but she wants to have fangs too, and a little bit of blood. If we have like a courier go and grab them, like, would you come and like help bring fangs?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, like no problem." And they're like, "Okay, great." And they're like, "Yeah, so Aubrey's in room whatever, whatever." And then like, so when you're done with this, like, just come here at this time. And I was like, Aubrey, I didn't even like, I wasn't even paying attention to who the guest was that day. And I'm like, Aubrey, like Aubrey Plaza. And they're like, yeah, she's the guest today. And I was like, okay, it's fine, it's
Uh-huh.
breathing. And then next thing I know, I literally have my fingers inside Aubrey Plaza's mouth, fitting her with fangs and like putting like just the most like delicate, demure, like little drip of blood because she wanted to be a witch vampire.
Sure.
Because of course, why wouldn't
Who
she? And
wouldn't?
whatever
Yeah,
Aubrey Plaza wants, Aubrey Plaza gets.
exactly.
So that was kind of like I don't get like celebrity like shell shocked or anything or get like verklempt around celebrities, but that was one of the moments where that happened where I was like, did
This is
I speak this
cool.
into existence? But
Yeah.
like this is wild. Like this that was a very surreal moment to me for sure.
Yeah. One thing I really love about you, Kyle, is like you just talk about like you're very easy to work with. And you
Oh,
know,
thank
our
you.
entire so I'll go back a little bit because I had Charlie on several episodes ago, and Charlie was the
Yeah.
first person that ever read Snatched. And then of course Nick, my producer, and Nick was like the driving force behind like really getting this started. And
Yeah.
you were the first person that Nick introduced me to. Nick was
Ooh, I
like,
didn't know that.
I have this friend, he does like VFX and like puppetry and all of this stuff, and I want to send him the script. I was like, yeah, sure, go for it. And then it was like within days, I got a text from Nick telling me that you had woken up in the middle of the night and had like an idea and an inspiration
Yeah.
for how to do this one particular gag in the movie that
Mhm.
is we I hate bringing things up that I can't talk about because I'm like,
I
sorry, I
know.
can't tell you what we did because it's
You're
a
such a
secret.
tease.
We're gonna tease you a little bit, but yeah, I think I love like just like the passion you put into everything. Like and that was a year before we even like had any money. We were shooting. We didn't have shoot dates. You were just already your like brain was going with ideas. And then the entire and then you came out to LA to work with us, and the whole time you were such a professional. You never complained. You had such good energy on set, and every time anything didn't go as expected, like you were just like figuring out how to work around it. And so I'm just so grateful that we had you on this project. So if
Oh,
I
thank
haven't said it
you.
enough, thank you for all the talent and passion and just the good vibes that you brought.
Look, I'm really happy to be a part of the project. When I read the script, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I don't even care if 10 people see this film. Like, this is hilarious and amazing and like right up my alley with all the things that I love in horror and drag and all that stuff. So yeah, it was kind of a no-brainer. And like, I had worked on some projects with Nick, ironically another drag project, right?
Hmm.
And it's fun to be able to because I do drag, right? I put people in drag and stuff, but obviously that's not my main thing, and I love collaborating with other drag artists who are incredibly, talented. So anytime that people are doing drag and they're like, "Oh, I want gore," or "I want this effects prosthetic," or "I want," anything like that, I love that. Like I love collaborating and being a part of it versus like, okay, you're doing everything with it. It's too much stress. But yeah, it was really fun to be a part of this project in general. So thank you for having me on and trusting me with all the effects.
Well, you brought it. It was great. We'll talk. We'll get into some behind the scenes pics and some stories from Snatched in a little bit. But
Sure.
while we're on the topic of drag,
Hmm.
you know, you've talked about drag a lot. It's been a part of your life for a
Yeah.
long time. Um, and do you have any like insight into like the drag world that people might, not know, might be surprised to hear, people who might not be as familiar with it, or even people who know drag a little bit, like what, like from someone who's been around it for so long. Any like fun tidbits, insight?
I mean, it's funny. So we all have our like journeys if you're a queer person, right? Or like a
Yeah.
gay person and coming out and stuff like that. And Wisconsin wasn't that progressive, but we like had drag queens around, like they existed when I came out, like there were drag performers and stuff, but I wasn't too involved in it. And it wasn't until I went on a date with my ex who was a drag queen that I was really like brought into that world, right? I maybe
Yeah.
saw a drag show once, right? And it was crazy because they led with a level of fear, right? Of like, they're like, "What's your weird thing?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "Well, everyone has a weird thing. What's your weird thing?" And I was like, "I don't know. I like gore. I do dark art. I don't know." He's like, "Okay, cool, cool, cool." And I was like, "Well, what's your weird thing?" He's like, "I do drag. I'm so sorry if you're not into that. I get it. Most guys aren't. That's fine." And it was like really shocking, right? And even I said at that point, like when I was younger, like I don't know if I would ever date anybody who's a drag queen. I don't think that's my scene, kind of a thing. Not understanding that it's a performance. It's a
Hmm.
performance art. It's
Yeah.
performing. It's theater. That's what it is, right? And
Yeah.
there's a lot of misconceptions even within the gay community then and now of the difference between people who transition, right, and are trans women and or trans men, and what a drag queen or drag king is and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And it's not until you kind of start getting exposed to it that you learn that kind of stuff. But I once I started to be in that world, I started to get literally educated, right? And so there's a lot of people around me that were having me watch historical films and Paris is Burning and all these kinds of things that really get down to the root and the history of drag. And the one thing that I loved about theater in high school and like the performing arts and stuff like that, and why I clung on to it so much, is that it was a place for misfits. And I feel like
Hmm.
this is so played out and people have the story and stuff like that, but it's a true thing. Like it's where the weird people win. If you didn't feel like you fit in with everybody else, then you would at least fit into theater somewhere, right?
Hmm. Yep.
And drag is a community like that as well. If you were in the gay world and you didn't feel like you fit in with like other gay dudes or whatever, like the drag world, like it accepted everybody, and so it was kind of eye-opening, the whole process of being brought into that. But I mean, the history of drag is crazy, and it's all theater, right? Like it all comes from theater, from the physicality to the acting to the why you do the makeup that you do and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's all theatrical.
Hmm.
And that's where the world of camp comes from, and John Waters films and like all these crazy things. And I had I not gone on that date with my ex and experienced that, I might not have never been brought into drag that way, in a positive way, right? And not have been
Hmm.
exposed to this incredible world.
Hmm.
Um, and it's everywhere. Drag is everywhere. It's in everything. It's in TV, film, movies, books, theater. Even if you don't think it's traditional drag, it's everywhere. And yeah, I implore, if you haven't seen like Paris is Burning, or if you haven't read about drag in Germany in 1910 and 1920s, and like the queer lingo that used to exist and stuff. I mean, just do yourself a favor if you're part of the community, like really just go down a rabbit hole on YouTube and research some of the stuff, because it is really fascinating, and it just kind of explains a lot about our community and like where we come from and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's an art form at the end of the day too. It's just an art form, and
Hmm.
it's so fun to see people express themselves in a limitless medium, right? Like you can do
Yeah.
anything in drag. And man, when I saw my first horror drag, like Sharon Needles was a big inspiration, and like, oh,
Yeah.
you can do creepy stuff.
Yeah.
I watched a drag performer staple fabric to herself as a part of a number, on stage, like just weird things. And it's like, okay, so drag isn't just a man in a wig, like
Hmm.
bopping to a song. Like it can be anything you want it to be. And so
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool. Do you have I mean, obviously I'm sure you know a lot of drag queens. Do you have anybody you want to shout out on this episode? Like who should people be following that they're maybe not aware of? Or maybe they are aware of and
So
they just
hard.
haven't
Yeah,
hit the
I don't
follow
know.
button yet.
That's so hard.
I know. We
It's
can
so
skip
hard
it. We can
because
come back to it.
no. I think okay, I'm gonna take like an esoteric
Great.
version of this.
Okay.
I think you should be supporting local drag, right? So where no
Mhm.
matter where you are, find your closest venue that puts on drag shows and just go. If it's
Go
drag
play some
brunch, if
drag
it's
bingo, brunch,
yeah,
yes.
anything, just
Bring
go.
dollar bills.
Yes, bring dollar bills or fives or tens.
Yeah, why not?
Um, and just go support these queens, support drag kings, right? They're incredible. Bio queens are amazing. For those who don't know, those are, cis women or biological women who do drag,
Mm.
also known as Dolly Parton and Cher. But but yeah, go support local. And I want to just give like a big a big shout out to new drag queens.
Okay.
So to people who are just trying drag, try it just to see if you like it, right? But even those who are trying it and want to push for a career, it takes a lot of guts. You are putting yourself into an industry, especially now, that's got some high standards, right? And people are very opinionated,
Hmm.
but it takes a lot to put yourself into that character and to expose yourself to the community, right? I mean, us queens aren't, without judgment, right? I feel like we could be
Yeah.
some pretty tough audiences, but yeah, I always get a little bit frustrated when people are like, "Oh, put me in a drag, put me in a drag. I want you to put me in a drag," and I kind of don't put people in drag unless it's for like a show or a TV or like a
Yeah.
performance or something. But if they want to start out in drag, I'm like, I'll consult. Like we can kiki and we can like learn about drag and I can take you shopping and find the best products and tips and tricks. But you have to go through your ugly phase. You have to experience what a new drag queen experience is, right? And I think I don't want to call it cheating, it might be controversial, but if your career has started out because you had a team of people around you that are putting you into costumes that they made and they're incredible artists and they're writing your numbers for you, they're doing your choreography for you, and they're painting your face for you and they're doing your wigs for you, like that kind of takes away. It's a great community, right? And I love supporting
Yeah.
those artists, but you should reach out to those folks after you've tried some of that yourself, right? Because one of the reasons that it takes it when a village helps out other drag queens, especially like well-known drag queens or like people well in their careers, because those drag queens have experienced every one of those elements. They've made their own costumes with hot glue. They've put Maybelline foundation on their face without blocked eyebrows and didn't know how to do a cut crease. Like they went through that phase, and you have to build up who your character is, right? Like,
Right. Yeah.
and my version of how I would put you into drag is not how you would eventually put yourself into drag. And
Hmm.
so I just want to give new drag queens. I think they're my favorite. I love discovering new queens and seeing them and then getting to watch them grow. Like that's the coolest part is seeing their transformations and them growing and finding their path of who they are and their stuff. So anyways, that's my like general way of saying I love all drag queens.
Yeah, the journey of discovery is
Yeah.
is like in some ways like what it's about, right? Like the performance and
Mhm.
being pretty and whatever and all that is great too,
Mhm.
but it's like you discover so much in the failures and in the imperfections. So yeah, that's really beautiful, Kyle. Um 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 Kyle, can we jump into some set pictures?
Please, I'm excited to see these. I don't know if I've seen
Uh
them before. This would be a perfect time for us to talk about our sponsors today. Uh,
yeah, we have sponsors?
yes,
I wish. I
look,
wish.
if you're looking to sponsor
Yeah.
the full length feature of Snatched, please contact
Yes,
our
reach out to
producer.
us. We are looking for big rich donors who want to help us make a feature film. But in the meantime, a quick post-production update. I mean, not a huge update, but yeah, we're in the post-production phase. We have we're close to final cut, and then it's we got to get this week I have a whole bunch of meetings because I have to hire a colorist, a VFX person, sound design. We have another song we have to make, and these sound effects. There's a lot to do still.
Yeah.
And we ran out of funds, and so we are self-funding post-production. But if you would like to help us finish this movie, we do have our merch site up and running, and so you can buy merch, and
Oh yeah.
all proceeds from our merch go toward helping with post-production funds and getting us into film festivals. And if you don't want anything, but you just want to send money, you can actually send a donation through our merch site. You could just like buy a sticker and send me $100,
Yeah.
open up your wallets and your hearts.
I feel like we need to hit the streets with like a slogan of something like "Get snatched," and just get people experience. Do you want to get snatched? Be a
Yeah,
part of the movie. We
let's
just
do
got to do
it.
it. Let's do it. Let's hit the streets
Let's
running.
All right, all right. All right. We'll put that on the to-do list. But for now, Kyle, I have some pictures I want to share with you from
Okay.
set. We're gonna go behind the scenes of Snatched.
Oh.
Um, this is day one, getting the wig set on Mystical, aka Cameron Copperthorpe, who
Oh
plays
yeah.
Jimmy. And yeah, this was like the first time putting him into drag into the wig. What are you getting some pins into place here?
I think so. Or I'm checking fit to see where
Yeah.
the lace is lining up. Um,
Kyle, there's a lot of things that people don't know about wigs in terms of like there's sizes and like there's
oh
ways
yeah.
to put them on so that they look real. And
Oh,
I didn't know all
absolutely.
of this stuff before working on this project.
Yeah, I mean, so there's levels of making wigs. I mean, there are people who their literal job is to single-handedly tie every single strand onto an entire wig, right? They knot it and ventilate it. To getting a wig off Amazon, and doing the best thing you can with synthetic fibers,
Yeah.
like we did.
Hmm.
But yeah, this one was a little bit tough, right? And it's like we have to get head measurements ahead of time as best as we can, and then I'll take like a wig block, which is like a form for the wig. And if I don't have one big enough, I have to pad it with padding and tape it all so that it can be as close to the person's head as possible. Then there's like usually if it's a lace wig, there's a lot of extra lace that hangs down. And in theater, on Broadway, you might see this in Broadway photos where there's like an inch and a half of lace. There has to be for Broadway because that keeps the integrity of the wig because they take them on and off so much and like quick changes and stuff. But in film, obviously you don't want to see that lace. So you have to cut it really close to the hairline. So like I had to wait to cut the lace until I got it on the actor and see how much we had to take back and all
Hmm.
that stuff. But yeah, I mean, we kind of we built the wig during a snowstorm.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
um,
Kyle, because we were supposed to get you a day early. We were gonna run a bunch of
yeah,
tests. We were gonna
yeah,
test out some. You also do puppetry work,
yeah.
and without getting into any spoilers, there is some puppetry that comes into play as
Mhm.
well in this movie. So we know we it's like when you watch the old Jurassic Park, those dinosaurs are puppets. They're real. They're not like CGI. Well, there are CGI
Mhm.
moments, of course, but the difference of having real practical effects on set versus just doing it in post and CGI. It's a lot more expensive to do CGI, and it's also so fun to do the puppetry work. But yeah, we didn't get to do any of our tests because the snowstorm
Yeah.
caused you to get in the day of the shoot, and you
Yep.
like came directly from the airport to set.
Yeah.
So we didn't get
Yeah.
to do our wig fitting, which we had
Nope.
scheduled. We didn't get to do
No.
our puppet test.
Yeah. No
Um,
choreography or anything. We made it
yeah,
work though. We made it work. That was a
we
nasty
did.
snowstorm. And the thing was not knowing, right? And us looking at flights, literally like, well, could we leave tomorrow? Could I leave tonight at 11 p.m. and like it was so hard. I mean, we also had There's a local LA queen, Fena Barbitall. She does a lot of wigs as well. She's a wig mistress herself. Beautiful wigs. And there was a chance that I wasn't going to make it for the first day of the shoot. And
Mm-hmm.
so
It's very scary.
I think 3 days before I actually flew in and got there, I reached out to Fina and I was like, this is crazy, but do you happen to have any time to make this wig, right? And I styled a custom wig and like all this stuff, and I like Frankenfurted wigs together and all these different things. And so I was like, if someone in LA could make something like that, and sort of, she made the most identical wig from a video and photos that I sent her, and two wigs from Amazon that like she had overnighted to her house. Just made the wig. I mean, 2 days
Yeah.
later, she's like,
Yeah.
here's the wig, and I was like, that's insane. So we had the backup wig, thank
Yeah.
God. But
Yeah. Very impressive. Wait, what's their socials? Because I wanna throw it up and tag them. Do you
So
have it?
we are
Or
going
send it to me.
to, in post of the podcast, pop it up
Yeah.
after this. I don't know
Perfect. That's okay.
tag.
Okay. We're gonna put their socials up here. Give them a follow. Let's
Yeah. Yeah.
shout out to the because that was incredible. Because I remember it was Saturday when we were trying to figure out if we could get you in before the snowstorm, and you still
Yep.
had prosthetics that you were making because you're a very busy guy. You do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You're like constantly jumping from job to job and juggling like multiple different things. And
Mhm.
so yeah, you had a lot on your plate. You had a lot to do. And it was like, I don't know that I can actually get everything I need into a suitcase and get to the airport in an hour and a half to catch this flight.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because I was supposed to have one more day
mhm.
there, and so like I had prosthetics drying. I had like like all these things I literally could not pack away. I had to wait at least 24 hours, and then I was trying to play like, okay, well, what do we prioritize? I'm like, because I had so many things I didn't do because I was going to do them for the trial, and like
Right.
that day, the extra day that I had also. Anyways, so
Yeah, this is problem solving in filmmaking. Like you have
absolutely.
everything planned and then all the most unexpected things happen and you got to just figure it out.
Exactly.
But yeah, you were a rock star. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna get back to these pictures. That was a good little sidebar.
Yeah.
I think this is more a putting on of the wig. There with
Hmm.
my leaky. That was
Oh, love
Cameron.
my
That was
leaky.
yeah. Um, that was his first time putting the wig on. Cameron had not gotten to
Yeah.
wear the wig before day one on set.
Yeah.
And he
But
looks
I
great.
I I loved it because I think once we put the wig on, his like, and then he saw himself with that incredible beat. He just went from here to here as a character. Like it just
Hmm.
opened up so much possibilities. Again, the transformation of drag.
Yes, it is. I mean, that's any actor. Once you put on your
Yeah.
costume, once you get on set, you put on the makeup, uh, the wig in this case as well. Like you feel different.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. This is our day one set which I've shown lots of pictures from here before, but yeah, this is
Yeah.
our character Phoebe's bedroom, and I think
Mhm.
that's just you're just lurking in the shadows here,
Is it?
lurking in the doorway. Um, we had a little blood
Not creepy
gag
at all.
here, and so I think we just had you on standby
Oh,
to
yep.
yeah, for a little fun little blood gag that we're not
Yeah.
we won't want to talk about, but yeah. Uh you did hair, you did gore. This is applying some blood. That's a great picture.
That is a really good picture.
It
I gotta
almost looks
look
like a
these
disco
over
ball above
again.
your head.
Yeah,
It's
that
not.
tracks.
What were you saying?
That tracks. I was like, I
Yeah.
gotta look at this folder again. I don't think I've actually like looked at everybody else's. I think I just dumped my photos in and ran.
Well, these were from our set photographer,
Yeah,
Justin.
yeah, yeah. These are
So
great.
yeah, and we're gonna get Justin on the pod at some point too. And this is Sherry, our set designer. And
Oh
you guys
yes.
had both sometimes also what happens on set is you don't always communicate to which department what responsibilities are. So like we had a prop that had a gag in it. So it's like, okay, is that set design to make
Yeah.
this prop, or is it special effects because they're doing the blood and the gore? And you both made one and it was great. So we had options.
Yeah. We actually literally Frankenfurted both our ideas into one. It was a perfect marriage.
I love that. I love that. So yes, we'll look forward to that more soon. This is, of course, I think this was like toward the end of the shoot. It was a great first day on set. We were all
Yeah.
good vibes. Me, you, Cameron, Maliki. Great picture, great memories here. And then I'm gonna blur this one out because this is actually a spoiler. So we're
Yeah.
not gonna show this picture, but I wanted to show it to you anyway.
I love that.
Because this is Kyle working on the puppet. So for everyone listening, I'm showing Kyle a picture of him working on a puppet that I can't show
Yeah.
you.
And I am so excited for a future version of this to take another stab at that because I have more ideas, obviously.
Okay. I love
But
it.
that was fun.
I love it. Yes, and this is day two. So we had a holding room at the set that we were on day two, which was like
Yeah.
multiple different production spaces. And so right next to the bar we were shooting at was like this diner. And so you
Big
can see
timer.
here where all of like the cast and crew and our background actors got to hang out in this like funky
Mhm.
little diner. And that's where you're getting our wig nice and pretty and styled for shooting day two.
Yeah.
Any fun things happen that I missed back there?
I don't know. It was so go 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 because that was a big day because there was
16 hours.
16 hours and there was effects. I also had a second makeup artist on as well, and she was taking care of like BG and like other actors and stuff
Yeah.
while I
Shout out
took
to
care of the
Mia. Mia
wig.
was great.
Yeah, she's amazing. Uh, and so I like had the wig, the puppet. There are a couple of effects stuff. Um, like the whipped cream stuff. And did you talk
Hmm.
about the bats? Is that a spoiler? There's the
Oh,
bat
we
thing.
haven't. There are bats in the movie. We have
Yes.
talked about that. We have not talked about what
Baseball bats,
happens
not spooky
specifically.
bats.
We've talked about pies. We've talked about bats, but no,
Okay,
I
yeah, yeah,
haven't
yeah.
given it away any specifics.
Yeah, so there was just a lot of gags this night, like a lot. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's
most of the big stuff all happened to this day, except for like
Mhm.
one very big thing that happened day three.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this was cool. Yeah, and then this is day three. Speaking of day three, this is our
Yeah.
bathroom shoot. And yeah, you and Mia are working on piping some blood here,
Mhm.
through some tubing, and we had this like taped to the floor because we wanted the blood to seep underneath the door to the bathroom stall. And so yeah, this is you and there's Cameron
Oh
out
yeah.
of wig. But you guys just trying to get the blood to flow in a very specific way, which, guys, it's not as easy as it sounds.
Oh yeah. Especially you don't know the slope of the floor and like it was sloping the opposite way and all that jazz. But we
Yeah,
figured it
how do you
out.
know
It's
that the
figured out.
level is like just like a little off?
Right,
You can't
exactly.
know
You
that
know?
until you start to spray blood and then it
Hmm.
flows the wrong way.
Right.
Yeah.
But we had a good crew. There was a lot of it was a lot of hands on deck to like,
Yeah.
clean and reset and stuff. That's the worst thing about blood, right? Is like it's a lot of one take wonders, or you have a good chunk of time of having to clean up the scene. So, rehearse as much as you can. Then,
Yeah. But we did this in 2 takes.
yeah, yeah, we did.
So we only had to clean it up. Well, clean it up twice, but we only had to,
Yeah,
do like one
reset
sort of like
once. Yeah.
pause, clean, reset, shoot again. So, um, yeah, that was great. I thought it went really well. Um, and yeah, this is the
Oh,
last
yeah.
picture I have of just yeah, uh, your
Not the
little
Windex.
your little setup, your little station.
This looks as
Um,
chaotic as that night was.
it was, yeah, but yeah, Justin
Unorganized
captured a
chaotic.
little bit of the magic there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Um, yeah, there was some more pictures of you, but I can't obviously show some of those things.
Because they're just too beautiful and stunning. I get
Too beautiful, too stunning.
it.
Kyle, do you have anything else you want to share about like that week, that those days on set? Any other like fun set stories?
It was such a whirlwind because the days were so long and so much happened in such a short amount of time.
Hmm.
Um, it was so nice to leave a snowstorm and then be in like amazing LA weather, but I didn't really get to enjoy it too much. But it was, I mean, this is a kudos to you and like Nicholas and like everybody else involved from the top down in the film. Like it was just a fun set. Like there were stresses, right? And there were a
A
lot of problem
couple, yeah.
solving and things that happened and we had to pivot and flex and stuff. But I felt like everybody was equally equipped within their their department. Um, both just like talent and experience wise, but also like knowing how to pivot and stuff and like
Hmm.
how to talk to each other and how to like work with each other. And yeah, it was just really, really fun. I mean, I really liked meeting Maliki and seeing their work. I mean, all the talent were just super easy and super, super chill and fun. And um, yeah, it was just a really nice set to be on. And that like that can make or break it. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I almost I remember the good sets the most because like you get to absorb more, right? And like I feel like the most chaotic sets, a lot of times people I think focus on like the negative or like, oh, that set was off the wall, blah. But like I tend to forget those because it's just like I block it out of my mind and just don't want to
Yeah.
remember it. But yeah,
Hmm.
no, this was a really, really fun set. I wish we had more days to shoot,
I know.
honestly. Like it would have just been fun to be with that crew a little bit more. Or we had like a little downtime or like a wrap party or something, but we'll have it.
Hmm.
It'll be in the future. I know.
I know. Well, some people are too busy. You had to fly out the
That's right.
next
We have,
day to go back for other jobs,
yeah, yeah.
So
I mean, so many people did. Yeah. There was a lot of passion in it. People, I mean, we
yeah.
loved the script. We loved working with you. You're a great director. You pulled
Thank
a lot
you. I
of
love hearing
amazing things
that.
out. Um, uh, But yeah, yeah, it was cool. It's also fun to see Nicholas in a producer role. I
Yeah.
didn't get to see him in that role before,
Uh-huh.
so that was fun. Uh, but yeah, it was a really really fun set. I'm excited to be a part, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, I'm very excited to show people. I feel like this is like the longest edge session ever because it's like
1,000%.
it'd be like 20 weeks of me telling people, "Oh, we can't tell you about this thing. You'll see it soon."
Right, right.
I feel mean. I'm starting to feel mean.
They're like, is there a movie? Is there actually a movie? Or are you
Yeah,
just
there's
like,
really yeah, you're just lying.
yeah, right, right, right. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Kyle, what's coming up for you? What are you working on?
Uh,
What's going on in your life?
Lots of stuff now. I mean, it was hard to meet for a silly podcast, which is just crazy. So hashtag booked and blessed. I'm very
Right.
excited, so I'm not complaining. But I've been doing a lot of uh, passion projects like short films and proof of concept films and stuff. So I've got a big one coming up the end of this month. That three monsters, creature monsters, lots of effect and gore. I've been working with Impractical Jokers,
Yes, you were
building,
telling me about that. So
yeah,
fun.
building custom prosthetics, silicone prosthetics and stuff. So live casting
Did you
and
shoot
stuff.
that scene that scene you were telling me about when I was in New York yet, or is that coming up still?
Ooh, which one? I feel like there's a couple.
Oh, I'm trying to remember the specifics of what you told me. I'm someone who's always bad at
The
remembering
specifics. Yeah, don't worry.
details and specifics. I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, you told me about Impractical Jokers," and I just remember having a great time. We went out for brunch when I was in New York,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
got some good old Wisconsin cheese curds,
That's right.
which
That's
you
right.
can find in New York. They
In other
have some.
states, right? They import
There
them,
are other states that do make good deep fried cheese curds.
ethically sourced. Yes.
Yeah, I can't remember the specifics of what it was. I just remember being very excited for you because I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
there's probably episodes of Impractical Jokers I've seen 10 times.
Oh
It's
yeah.
such a fun show.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I haven't seen it for a while, but they're on their 13th season now. And they're upping the stakes, right? Because like people recognize them so much, and so now they're starting to partner with VFX and special effects to like make them not recognizable, I
Go
guess.
undercover.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been fun, and it's
Have
been
they
nice
done drag
because
yet?
what's that?
Have they done drag yet?
Not technically,
Not that we know of.
not
No.
that we know of
That
yet.
would be fun.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Uh, but yeah, it's been nice because I love practical effects and character creation and TV and film, but I've been doing so much design for Broadway lately. So I'm actually like in the middle of Purple Rain, the musical.
Hmm.
Um, uh, we did an out of town in November, and now it's not coming back to Broadway until next spring. So I've got this giant gap, and it just luckily like one thing fell into another, of all these different things. I'm working on a Jewish horror film, which is
Oh.
cool because I never you and it's like kind of like a Jewish demonic thing, and it's a
Hmm.
proof of concept. So it's going to be like a short, but it's proof of concept for a feature,
Cool.
and that's really cool because like we never see like the Jewish lore of possession, and
Yeah.
in like Jewish customs, like you're possessed by somebody who used to live on Earth, like by another soul that lived on Earth, right? It's not
Okay.
necessarily like a goat or this demon from the underworld.
Hmm.
So it's some really cool concepts.
Interesting. Possessed by something that's not a demon. Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're demonic in some ways and stuff, but
Maybe. I don't know.
yeah, but so that's pretty cool. Yeah, so lots of fun
Very
stuff.
cool.
Keeping me
Um,
busy.
a question for you. So if
Yeah.
you're doing Impractical Jokers and you're doing practical effects, does the show then become Practical Jokers?
I'm hoping they're going to change the name of that for sure, or at least do a
It's
mini
time.
series of like my involvement behind the
Yeah,
scenes.
like
Um,
Impractical Jokers meets Scare Tactics, and
exactly.
it's
Yes.
just a special for Halloween season.
Practical Jokers.
It's called Practical Jokers.
Yes. I mean, have you seen Very Important People?
No, I haven't. I've heard
Oh,
of it, but I haven't seen it.
it's brilliant. Katya was just on it, but they take these actors and they put them into these insane character costumes, like aliens
Oh,
or
I've seen
Bigfoot or
clips on
whatever.
Instagram. That's why I'm
Yeah,
aware
yeah,
of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to see what
Vic
they
Michaels
are.
is so funny, by the way.
Yes,
Shout out
yes.
to
They're not
Vic
allowed to see who
Michaels.
they are, and then suddenly it's revealed, and they've got like 30 minutes to create a character, and then they go on set and someone interviews them and they have no idea who they're interviewing or what, and it's just improv.
Yeah.
I've never laughed so hard in my life. But that feels like a Practical Joker's kind of vibe too. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fun.
I love going to UCB shows, and Vic
Yeah.
Michaels is someone who I have been following for a while because I've just always thought she's so funny. And yeah, these videos started popping up on my Instagram, and I'm always excited when you see someone that you're like, oh yeah, I remember watching, like paying $5 to go watch an improv show of
Yeah.
them at UCB
Yeah.
10, like eight years ago,
Yeah,
and
it's
here they are
amazing.
doing like such cool things. If you have not seen, yes, sorry, shout out to Vic Michaels and Very Important People because you
Oh
should go
yeah,
watch
it's so
some of these
good.
clips. Look it up on Instagram, on YouTube. There, it's very funny. Um, okay,
Yeah.
Kyle, we're about wrapped, I think. What are we missing? What else?
Great.
Anything else you want to add that I didn't ask you that you want to tell people about?
Um, I don't know. I'm not so used to talking about myself in this
It's
capacity, so
awkward, right?
it
Yeah,
is.
you
It's
did a great
very
job,
awkward.
though.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
I thought this was, yeah, the conversation flowed very well. You offered a lot
Yeah.
of really cool insight into things that like I'm in the film world, but I don't get to like really experience hands-on a lot of the stuff that you do. So I think that's very
Yeah.
cool to just like hear your insight in some of the stories of things that you've done. And
I hope it was
wait,
entertaining at least.
yeah, okay, hold on. Question I had earlier that I didn't
Yeah.
ask. What's the longest you've ever spent like putting someone into a prosthetic or something, a costume? Because that stuff takes time.
Ooh.
The process
Yeah, that's a good
we
one.
we had a little prosthetic moment that we spent a good couple hours on because somebody wearing the prosthetic was talking a little too much and it started to peel off and that causes problems.
Um, yeah, but that's a really good one. I think the longest is probably 6 hours. And
Hmm.
I can't remember the parameters of why it was so long, but it was like 12 foam latex pieces and like body paint. Body
Hmm.
painting takes a long time. I would do a lot of demos for shows and stuff like that, like trade shows or art shows, something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I've body painted for 8 hours before,
Do you
head to
start with
toe
like a
and stuff like
spray?
that.
Like a air
So
like a
actually, so it's
base?
really funny. If there's any FX and makeup people out there, like I'm not that big on airbrush. I use it and I'll do it, but I am so much faster as a hand painter.
Hmm.
So I'll base out in big strokes or like very gestural in certain spots and stuff. Yeah, it's just what I know and what I prefer.
Yeah. You
But
start with like a roller.
yeah, yeah, I actually just dip the whole talent in a bucket of paint and lift them out.
Efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, any other like
If
crazy long term
if it
story.
comes to mind, we'll do a follow-up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
send it to
But
me.
yeah.
Okay. Kyle, where can people follow you if they want to see more of your work or keep up with what you're doing?
Yeah, well, I'm most active on Instagram, which even then I'm barely active on it because I'm
Yeah.
awful at that stuff. But my handle is Kyle Krueger NYC. So it's pretty easy to find me
Not to
on
be
there.
confused with Kyle Krueger in all the other cities.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there is a Kyle Krueger in LA, who is people when they hear my name think that I'm that person.
Have you
And
met
then
him?
I have met him years ago.
Okay.
He was at I don't know, some drag, some like crazy drag event or party or something like that. But yeah, I'm not that Kyle Krueger.
Okay.
But yeah, um,
Kyle Krueger,
yeah,
NYC. Love it. Great.
NYC. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Kyle, it's been a pleasure. Thank you again for all of
Likewise. Thanks
your
for having
time and
me.
your energy, your hard work, your passion, your
Yeah.
talents. I look forward to working with you again soon. And yeah, let's keep this magic rolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you have not. Share with your friends, buy some merch, and hope you all have a great rest of your summer. We'll see you next week on the Farm to Film podcast. All right. Bye.